We are live. Fuck it. We'll do it live. That is the wrong instance of Dolphin Emulator. This is the right instance of Dolphin Emulator. Let's go. Okay, let's start the music. Very nice. Alright. Rush this. Make sure I'm up on Twitch's end. Yeah. Nice. So here's what's going to happen this time. I'm going to break it down for you. I'm going to go on net play. I'm going to probably lose a bunch. In fact, if I get worried about losing, I'm going to be kind of disappointed in myself. I might have to reassess my priorities. I'm going to get beat up on net play. That's all well and good. Still going to do Captain Falcon, I think, because I like the way he moves. And then, let's see, what else am I going to do? I'm going to go over politics and current topics, and also some other stuff that isn't necessarily politics, but that I have been enjoying the past few days. The political topics will include some repeats from last stream, because last stream, the audio quality was really bad. And I also don't think the stream quality was that good as a result of that and me getting hung up on my performance on netplay. So we're going to start with the news of the day. Starting with actually the Joe Biden. That's what we're starting with. I guess that guy didn't like Falcon dittos. I don't blame him. There are some dittos where I really don't like the matchup. Blip, blip. Ah, Falco. So, you guys know that I am no fan of Joey Brandon when it comes to foreign policy, because I think he is very outdated. I think he does, like, he's basically stuck in the 20th century, for lack of a better term, lack of a better way of putting it. You know? And by far my biggest critique of him, not just in foreign policy, but like all around for his presidency, the biggest problem I have is the way that Joe Biden has handled Israel-Gaza, which you can largely attribute, and I do, to him being a militant and ideological Zionist. You know, a lot of American politicians are like Zionist aligned, but it's like a Zionism of convenience more so than anything. Certainly there are some people who are like, yeah, you know, I would consider myself an ally of Israel, but it's like the only reason they are very supportive of it from a policy perspective is because of the sort of political considerations there, and the way that you play the game, as it were, the game of politics, or the like the subterfuge and intrigue and espionage that is inherent to politics, right? But Joe Biden is like, still is a like full-throated Zionist, like, to his core. Even though he himself is older than the state of Israel, which is kind of a weird confluence of stuff, but either way. So a lot of people, myself included, didn't really see him doing anything, even though everybody knew, like, the seeds were kind of there, because Biden does not like Netanyahu. Nobody does. You know, Israelis don't like Netanyahu. American politicians don't like Netanyahu. Even Joe Biden, God's strongest Zionist and Israel supporter, does not like Netanyahu. Because Netanyahu, in addition to being a Zionist, you know, fascist for the Palestinians, is also a fascist for Israel and for like everybody. He's just a thoroughly unlikable person, has engaged in corruption, and all sorts of skullduggery to that extent. You know, his party is a far-right party, which is even more insane than Israel than in other parts of the world because of, you know, kind of stuff that goes on there. But I think yesterday, or like the day before, it was the day before, that's right. So actually, the last time I streamed, like on that same day, Joe Biden actually announced a peace plan for Israel and Gaza, or rather a peace plan basically for Israel to pull their troops out of the Gaza Strip, you know? And he did it in a way that I think was pretty smart. Basically, if you saw the press conference, you'll know what I'm talking about, but I will try to refer to this article that I've pulled up when I get the chance to, right? He framed this as though it was Israel's proposal. Basically, he came out to the stage, to the podium, and said, "Hey, I've been talking with Israel, and they have a new peace proposal. Like, this is such a great peace proposal from Israel," and it outlined some stuff. It was pretty bare bones, but it basically, I think what he was doing, which I appreciate, is sort of sending the message to Israel, like, okay, this is the agenda now. Finally exercising some American soft power on Israel that basically, like, we have announced this peace plan, which will occur in 3 phases, including some pullback, hostage exchanges going in stages, increase of aid, etc., until basically the pre-war status quo has been achieved, which, again, not good, but it's like America's at least paying attention now. And sort of the implication there, because he was doing all this, like, wink and a nudge stuff to the camera, is that, like, hey, Netanyahu, if you don't agree to this plan, yes, you do, actually. There will be consequences if you don't, and that sort of shit, right? It's, what's the term? Day late and a dollar short, but it's better than nothing at all. And it does mean that the dust will actually settle sooner than later. We'll be able to sort of properly survey how much damage has been done, not just to the Gaza Strip in terms of materiel, because we kind of know the devastating damage that's been done there, but then also the true damage in terms of the human cost, which we still don't have a complete picture of, right? I can go over some more details of the plan. Ooh, nice. Purple shine. Once this game is done. Ooh, I might be dead. Not DIing well. And I'm dead. Okay. Let's go to NBC. Netanyahu aide says Israel agreed to Biden's ceasefire plan. Oh, cool. I think this is just from recently. Oh, wait, this might not be the right news article. Ah! Might have to pull up another news article. Ooh. I should recover high there, I think. Yeah, he's dead. That meant to be, that air dodge earlier meant to be Waveland off the platform. Okay, nice. Oh, cannot believe that I made that back. I can live this, I think. Oh, okay, that down smash hits pretty far. Yeah, I would have gotten to ledge there if he either whiffed the down smash or if he didn't do it at all. Why did I ledge jump there? I didn't press that button. Oops. Ah, I double jumped into that. Let's go to another article. Here we go. Great minds side B at the same time, I guess. Let's see. Might have to quit out after this match, or I could just take a second here. Yeah, here we go. Okay, so from Reuters, we have an article that says Biden unveils this peace plan, and Hamas actually responded positively to it. If you guys remember, there had been previous peace plans that Hamas had either proposed or come to the negotiating table for that were like proposed by third parties and whatever. And Hamas consistently was like, either yes, we agree, or like, we don't 100% agree, but like we're willing to hash out the details or whatever. Like this is a start, and you know, even if it's not ideal as is, like we'll take it, right? Like just give us something, basically. And consistently, Israel has been the one to say, no, we want to achieve our war aims, which on paper means like getting all the hostages back. Except, you know, we know that's not the case. That's not actually the war aims of Israel, because they in the most recent peace plan before this one that Hamas accepted and Israel rejected, one of the components of that plan was actually the full release of all the hostages, I think. And Israel said, no, we want the hostages back. We're not going to accept this peace plan. Or they like tried to pin it on Hamas or something. Like I've said before, Israel has gotten like increasingly lazy in matters of public relations and things like that. But here now we have Joe Biden kind of strong-arming Israel a little bit by like bursting into the saloon and being like, hey, Israel, that was such a good peace plan. Hey, Hamas had better accept it. Haha. You know, and shit like that. Let's continue here. President Biden on Friday laid out what he described as a three-phase Israeli proposal for a ceasefire in Gaza in return for the release of Israeli hostages, saying it's time for this war to end, and winning positive initial reactions from Hamas. We're having some good Falcon dittos here, I think. Ooh. Ah, he got me. Let's see. The first phase involves a 6-week ceasefire. when Israeli forces would withdraw from all populated areas in Gaza, which to me that's kind of hollow because all of Gaza is populated areas. They're probably gonna like, I don't know. They're using some weasel words here, but like that's phase 1. I think in phase 2 and 3 they have more extensive pullouts and stuff like that. Let's see. Some hostages, including the elderly and women, would be freed in exchange for hundreds of Palestinian prisoners. Palestinian civilians would return to their homes in Gaza, and 600 trucks a day would bring humanitarian aid to the devastated enclave. Good games, Blip Blip. That was fun. Oh, thank you. Let's play again later? Yeah, for sure. Here, hold on. I'm going to write them down on my Super Smash Bros. Melee list of allies. So people I would not quit out against. There we go. What a homie. That guy's cool. Take this opportunity to read some more of the article, since I was trying to read as I was playing, basically looking at the game from my peripheral vision. In this phase, Hamas and Israel would negotiate a permanent ceasefire that Biden said would last as long as Hamas lives up to its commitments, which, yeah, I believe they probably would. Far-right militancy aside, like they've shown a willingness that Israel hasn't to actually make those commitments in the first place. If negotiations took more than 6 weeks, the temporary ceasefire would extend while they continued. Okay. In the second phase, Biden said there would be an exchange for all remaining living hostages, including male soldiers. Israeli forces would withdraw from Gaza, and the permanent ceasefire would begin. The third phase would include a major reconstruction plan for Gaza and the return of the, quote, final remains of hostages to their families, which is grim, but I think phase 3 is the big, like, important part. Right? Followed by phase 2, obviously. Like, look, temporary ceasefire for as long as you guys take to negotiate the terms of the permanent deal, and then the ceasefire becomes permanent, and then there's going to be an extensive reconstruction of Gaza, a la probably Marshall Plan. That's the only thing I can really think of when I hear, like, massive reconstruction of a devastated area, right? At least I think that's the last time the United States has done anything like that, right? Oh god. Now, you guys have seen my prowess in the Samus matchup as Fox, and I know this matchup is good for Falcon, but don't have as much experience in it, so I might struggle. I'm just doing goofy shit. Yeah, get him out of here. Oh. Oh, wow. Yeah, me DIing in there really helped with that combo, huh? Every Samus does that charge shot. No. Finally got the tech. Okay. Ooh, strong back here. Hmm. Let's see. Let's see. I was talking about the third phase of this peace proposal. I think the reconstruction gives me at least a little bit of hope that things might marginally, at the very least, marginally improve going forward in Gaza, potentially in other areas of Palestine, maybe as well. You know, we'll see, basically. But what that's good to say, why that's good is it's part of the increasing amount of scrutiny that has been on Israel, will continue to be on Israel, because Israel, one of the things they had been doing and been largely getting away with even before the events of October 7th was targeting journalists and restricting the flow of aid. Obviously, after October 7th, those things got a lot worse. But, you know, now that the attention of the U.S. is directly on this from a perspective critical of Israel, saying, like, hey, you know, we're going to rebuild this bitch, and basically, like, we, the global hegemon, have already announced it, basically in no uncertain terms. So it's like, you know, you gotta go along with it. Ooh. I seem to be doing worse this time than last time, which is wacky. Oh, wow. Knee kills early, huh? Oh, no. Hi, Astroflick. Welcome back to chat. Going forward with the with this article about the peace plan, I think, let's see, Netanyahu's government said he was going to be present for the negotiations, so it's like Netanyahu didn't have much of a choice in this, because this is an American peace proposal that basically Biden said, hey, Israel, this is such a great peace proposal, haha, aren't these guys great? And then, like, Israel basically has to be, kind of be like, haha, yeah, because the U.S. is breathing down their neck this time. And I mean, like, actually breathing down their neck. Oh my god, I might actually be dead. It's a Biden W, he played them. He definitely did. He definitely did. No, fuck. Can't get force-stalked by Samus. Get out of here. No JV either. No soup for you. Fuck. From what I know, Hamas said they view it favorably. Yeah, they actually said that in this exact article. They said that. Yeah, PM Netanyahu's office said that he had authorized his negotiating team to be present at the deal, while insisting that the war will not end until all of Israel's goals are achieved. Him still trying to do his, like, baby bitch thing of asserting Israeli interests as if America can't, like, completely dictate what those interests are. You know, by virtue of us being like, hey, look, we supply you with all of your, like, military aid and funding and shit. You don't get to be an independent state. You know? Nice. Separately, the Israeli military said its forces have ended operations in Gaza's northern Jabalia? I didn't get a... Jabalia. Okay. Oh, for fuck's sake, dude. Ah! Okay. Oh my fucking god. I can't control my character. Alright. I'm playing so bad today. Then again, I kind of knew this was gonna happen. I didn't get my jump back. Ooh, I put the fear of God in that fox. Holy shit, I'm clipping that later. Obligatory blurb about October 7th and Hamas doing their funny haha terrorist bit and taking a bunch of hostages. You know, we all know about that part. I believe the some articles that I saw said that Hamas has somewhere between like 1 and 200 hostages, but that number has to be down, like, that has to be below half of that now, with how, like, flagrantly and carelessly Israel has been bombing. I would be sincerely doubtful if anything more than, like, I don't know, I don't want to give a hard number, I don't know the statistics or whatever on this matter, but, like, look, the point is, Israel has, like, entirely foregone the point, the supposed point of why this war was being done in the first place. And it's finally caught up to them, I think. Ah, fuck. Let's try that again. Let's take that as a mulligan. Oh yeah, in Biden's speech when he announced this proposal, he actually alluded to the fact that this would be like an indefinite war in the Middle East that nobody wants, you know, which of course is Netanyahu's intention because, like I said, he's been doing all sorts of corruption and shit, and even the Israelis don't like him on that front, and so like he's not just wanted by the international courts, of which Israel is actually not a signatory, of course, but he's also potentially wanted by the Israeli courts. Oh, he just walked forward and tippered. Let's go to this next article. Yeah, here we go. This was I think before Netanyahu ultimately accepted the the ceasefire proposal. From NBC, we have Netanyahu reportedly won't agree to a ceasefire deal unless it polls well for him, which is fucked up. Baharo878, welcome to chat. I was just talking about the ceasefire deal that finally is coming to Gaza, it seems like. I'm living as fuck is what's going on right now. Never mind. No. Have you ever played Smash Ultimate? I have. I'm not as big a fan of that game as this game, but I have. My down air didn't come out in time. Fuck, dude. Again, my R trigger not behaving. On all your directs? No, I've played Mario Kart, I've played Minecraft, but right now I'm playing Super Smash Bros. To try to practice for Super Smash Con, or I guess they renamed it Supernova now. Baharo, thank you for the follow. Recover high and never die. Fuck. Okay, perfect. Okay, cool. Israeli government made a conscious and deliberate decision to sacrifice the hostages, according to the Hostage Family Forum. So, like, there's... It's an organization of Israeli families who have had family members who've been taken hostage by Hamas in the Gaza Strip, and they're like, we want our families back. And Netanyahu's like, no. Which I guess, you know, that kind of means that now Netanyahu is in part holding them hostage because he has the power to get them back and consciously isn't exercising it literally because of political gain, in his own words. Is he a bot? Who? swear, the way I'm playing Falcon just makes him feel super slow. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Alright, let's scroll down here. Not that far. I only had one hand on the controller for that. Let it be known. Fucking hell. Literally trying to play with one hand as I operate the mouse with my other hand, and I'm having more success against this guy than when I was playing with two hands. It seems. Cover high, never die. Okay, never mind. Who's he going? Captain Falcon, oh boy. PM Netanyahu will not agree to end the war in Gaza unless it polls well for him, I guess. Yeah. Unless opinion polls show it to be politically advantageous for him, which is definitely a thing that he told the families. Like, that's all I can say about that. It is a thing that he said. Beyond that, I don't have many words for it. Oh. This guy's movement is like an F-, but everything else is like an A. Meanwhile, my movement is at like a B, and everything else fucking sucks. Oh, my DI is super bad. Have you played any Elder Scrolls games? So played tons of Skyrim. I have never played any of the Elder Scrolls games, believe it or not. Got him. The comments by Netanyahu's national security advisor, Hanegbi, I'm not going to try to pronounce that first name, because, not about that. Oh, drifted too far. That last guy before this, we were having some pretty good Falcon dinners. This might be the worst melee I've ever played. From both ends. Oh, this guy's a floaty player. I can tell. Yep. Those back airs, the way he's, like, taking a beat on the platforms. This guy's like a Marth main or a Puff main or something. I mean, he was just playing Marth earlier, so... Nice hint there, but... Oh. First made public by Israel's Channel 12 broadcaster sent shocks through the waves of hostage family communities nearly 8 months after their loved ones were kidnapped by Hamas during the October 7th attack. Yeah, nobody in Israel was happy with that either. Just goes. No. Nice. After this guy, I'm actually gonna leave, I think. Oh my god. I DI'd that so bad. Media's been pretty good about the Israel conflict recently. Yeah, that's true. They actually have been. Surprisingly. I think that's actually, like, things started getting a little bit better after, it was at some point during the student protests. I want to say, like, maybe not the tent massacres, because it was before that. I don't know. Alright, let's go try hard mode for one match. Ah, son of a bitch. I'm never gonna get to read this article, am I? Ah, no, fuck you. Get out of here. Fucking hell. Difficult to go over political topics in article form when I'm playing a competitive game like this. Yeah, and also while I'm playing against the weirdest fucking player I've ever played in my life. Seriously, I actually actively hope that nobody else ever has the displeasure of playing against this guy. Like I said, some of the worst melee I've ever played in my life from, like, all ends of that statement. Jeez. Ugh. Oh my god, I hate this guy. I actually hate him. I don't know why he learned to play like this, or what motivates him to play like this, but, like, I feel like there's so much more that I should be able to do against him, because he's just standing there, ultimately. He's, like, not doing anything, right? He's waiting for me to approach, and outside of that, he's actually not doing anything. This is stupid melee is what this is, I think. Ooh. I can make YouTube segments easier to do. Well, here's the thing, right? I can do the whole play melee and talk about politics thing. I can't do it against this guy specifically. Getting lazy. Ah! Wait, how did he have 2 stocks? I thought he only had 1 stock. What the fuck? This is so dumb. How the fuck do I punish side B? Just jump out of the way or something? I mean, I can intercept it with Gentleman, I guess. And of course, it doesn't help that my controller literally isn't responding to me. What am I doing? I'm pressing all sorts of buttons when I'm in shield, dude. I can't do anything. What is going on? This is the anti-melee player. This is the player you play against when you want to make it as hard to play as possible. Like, seriously, I feel like that's what's happening right now. Like, none of my buttons are coming out. You know, I can't move. And even despite this guy not doing anything, I'm somehow losing every interaction. Look at that! That meant to be a dash! I just walked forward like an idiot! What is going on? I feel like I'm going absolutely insane! I'm losing my goddamn mind right now is what's happening. Oh my god, dude! Look at that! You see that? What did he even do? He didn't do anything except, like, I don't know. Oh my god. Just doing jab grab. I can't move. I can't fucking move! I'm getting so mad. Okay. I need to stop side being is what's up. Now my wave dashes aren't working. Fucking hell, dude. Oh, Falco. Alright, here we go. Hopefully I'll have an easier time against this guy's Falco than any of his other characters. Maybe? No, he's just up tilting. Never mind. I don't want to play against this guy. Holy shit. I'm homie socking that. Fuck it. I don't know what's going on with this. Stadium. I feel like this is like anti-practice. Everything I do against this guy makes me worse at the game. That meant to be jump. That dash dance did not mean to be dash dance. What the fuck? The controller wizard has control of my hands right now. I'm not in control right now. Fuck you. You don't get any. Get out of here. My media player is lagging now? I don't understand. Oh, this guy's a floaty player as fuck. No Falco player just jumps like that. I mean, for half of the shit, I can't even really blame anybody but myself, because I'm going for falcon punches and shit.
Okay. Better ingredients.
Ah, fuck it. I'm living. Come on, give me one good game, please. I need a good game, come on. I guess this is my life now. When I get one good game against this guy, I will leave and then promptly continue the article. That up air meant to be knee so hard. What the fuck? Get out of here. Ugh. This is, you guys get to see me mad today. Oh my fucking god. Now he's pulling out the lag switch too. Like, only about 50% of the things that I'm doing right now are intentional. That's how bad I'm fucking up. Look at that! Did you see that? That meant to be run forward, short hop, stomp. And I would have gotten him too. I read a tech in place. He teched in place. My dumbass ran right past him. What is going on? Please give me something, game. Oh my god. All right. This is by far the worst gaming experience I've ever had. What is this? Can you explain socialism? Sure, Gregorius Stryker, I can. Socialism is when the workers own the means of production. Basically, to put it in more simple, modernized terms, the means of production are like, well, it's the economy, right? So basically, socialism is when you have a democratically organized economy, right? Right now, the workers do not own the stuff in society, like capital and businesses, and the methods by which we make things are all owned by private individuals and by corporations, basically by way of property deeds and things like that. And as a result, wealth is like concentrated in very few hands at the top of society. And socialism is a sort of reorganization of that so that the workers actually own that stuff, so that it's owned publicly and collectively. And so there's no, like, ultimately so that either stuff can't accumulate at the top or so that there's no top, basically, for things to accumulate in. It, like, a lot of socialism revolves around decommodifying things. Hope that's a good explanation. Or if you're not actually interested in the definition of socialism and you just tried to, like, ask for a gotcha or whatever, then you can just say socialism is when the government does stuff. And the more stuff it does, the more socialister it is. And when it does a lot of stuff, that's communism. You know, whichever you prefer. Interesting? Yeah. He's resorting to cheap shit. Of course. Also, welcome to chat. That was, I think that was your first chat message, as far as I saw. Oh no, I'm dead. And also thank you for the first socialist who hasn't banned me or deflect the question. I sincerely doubt that. I'm probably the only socialist whose chat you've ever been in. Because anybody who's a socialist can actually define socialism pretty well. It tends to be a consistent through line there, so I'm gonna hit a big old press X to doubt. Also, gotta say, if you're just going around asking socialists, what do you think socialism is? That's kind of weird, not gonna lie. Like, the question itself is innocuous, but, like, if you're making a habit of just going around to socialist live streamers and asking what socialism is, like, I'm not Google. You can go to Google and get a perfectly good definition of socialism. In fact, I think you should have gone there first before coming here. Often too many on the far left are afraid of having conversations. That's not been my experience. Problem is that there are 10 different types of socialists. Only 10? I don't know what circles you guys have been running, but there are way more types of socialists than just 10. In fact, my biggest, the biggest problem I've encountered with online socialists is that they won't shut the fuck up about how you're not socialist enough. Like, you know? I believe much more, I believe much more that the person believing in that ideology can give a way better understanding of the ideology. Deeply sorry for bad English. I can't tell if English is your first language. And also, if you think that a person who adheres to a certain ideology is going to be a better indicator of that ideology than academic sources or search results, then you are flat wrong. Sorry to tell you. You should be going to Google if you, like, what is socialism? What is liberalism? What is fascism? Like, any of those ideologies, go to Google. Don't ask people. Half the people who call them socialists online are, have, like, incoherent... Well, actually, everybody who adheres to given ideologies has very, incoherent elements, and idiosyncrasies ways that they believe that ideology manifests or whatever. You would get a way more consistent answer and a better answer for, understanding, like, what socialism is, how the movements work, if you just Googled that shit. Like, seriously. There are some people who call themselves socialists that aren't. There are some people that call themselves socialists that are, that don't entirely, like, understand all of the policies that they support and shit like that, which is pretty common, you know. It's definitely, you know, it's more than I can say for conservatives and liberals who frequently can't really define what their ideology is. Like, if you ask them what conservatism is, or what liberalism is, they'll just say, like, oh, it's when good things. And it's like, great, thank you, very helpful. Whereas with Google, you get an actual definition. Or with Wikipedia. In fact, Wikipedia is probably where I would recommend going if you want to read about what socialism is and what movements have adopted the socialist mantle through history. Final Destination. I'm kind of over it, I'm not gonna lie. I'm still waiting for the one good game with this guy, but... but I don't think I'm gonna get it. I honestly don't. That spot dodge meant to be jump out of shield stomp. Holy shit, I'm playing so bad. That pivot down smash was intentional though, so that was nice. Ultimately, do I just need to clench really hard? I think I just need to clench really hard. Yeah. If I clench really hard, I'll have more control over Falcon and what he does. It sounds weird, but it's 100% true. Gremlin 64. Alright, one more match where I just clench the whole time, and then I'm gonna... Hit him. I wasn't clenching. I got to clench. Oh, he left? Pussy. Alright. Finally, somebody that actually plays the game. Ooh. Oh, I went for it all. If you played Mad Max game I'm playing right now, it's so fun. I've not played any Mad Max anything. I've also not seen the Mad Max movies, and I don't know if I have any intention to either. Alright, I'm clenching for this game as well. Nice. He lived. Oh no. Ah. Okay, let's reset. Let's reset after that fucking nightmare. Where was I? Yes, Netanyahu won't agree to hostage release deal unless it polls well for him, if Israeli families say they were told. Yeah. This was, well, this is from the mouth of the horse, I guess. The National Security Advisor said, we understand the only way to bring back all the hostages is through a deal that will bring an end to the war. And as he sees it, the Israeli government is not going to put an end to the war right now. I respect the honesty. Yeah, in a weird way, I kind of prefer that because it makes the job of the international community in the US a lot easier. Like when Netanyahu is just bald-facedly and nakedly evil, just up front, like, yeah, no, I don't actually care about the hostages. What I do care about is continuing the war and obliterating Palestinians, you know? And this is sort of his attempt to throw a wrench in the negotiations, which I think is going to majorly backfire, you know? Let's see. Israeli opinion polls paint a mixed picture of the public's willingness, which I actually don't care that much about. The Israeli public is very, very weirdly reactionary when it comes to Palestine. I mean, it's not super weird. Yeah, Netanyahu just wants the war to extend until Trump is elected so his power can be unchecked. And that's because he's in hot water if he does anything else other than that, right? Yeah, you know, Netanyahu wants to get Trump elected, and Biden has caught on to that finally. So he's like, okay, bucko, no more fucking with my electoral chances for office. You're out of here. Basically starting to apply the pressure now. Which, look, I'm sure there's going to be more details that come in the future for this peace plan. But right now, it seems like there is something in the works, which is good. Let's see, Netanyahu aide says Israel agreed to Biden's ceasefire plan for Gaza. Which is good, I think. My connection against this guy is not great, I think. It's low ping, but there's some stutters. Yeah, see, look at that. There's like a lag spike. Oh no, I'm dead. Let's scroll down here. An aide to Israeli PM Benjamin Netanyahu said that... Oh no, possible poor match performance detected. Has agreed to the framework for President Joe Biden's plan to bring an end to the war in Gaza, which is, you know, good. This is I guess this is despite Netanyahu saying that he's not going to agree to a ceasefire unless it's like politically expedient for him. I guess he's either A, he's judged it to be politically expedient for him, thus he's agreed to the ceasefire, or B, he's like his hand has been forced and he's agreeing to it despite not wanting to and it not being politically very expedient for him. That's what I can think of right now. Oh no. This guy hasn't caped me a lot, which I'm still scouting the cape. Holy shit, the lag is real with this one. Okay. One more? Okay. One more. Yeah, basically, Biden says, like, yeah, indefinite war is bad. Like, bad idea. Ooh. So it seems, finally, that there might be an end to the genocide in Gaza. And I am still going to call it a genocide. It doesn't matter that it cut off early, because I don't think there would be much utility in the term genocide if you could only use it to refer to genocidal projects that had already been finished, right? Because all of the pieces are there still, but it, you know, I would much rather for sure have things be finished off here and like ended early before, you know, the Israel gets to kill everybody, rather than have this thing like proceed all the way to the end, like they were, like what happened with either with Germany or Armenia, you know, the Ottoman Empire, or any number of other genocidal projects throughout history, especially because, right, this would be, I think, the first time that that the international community was capable of recognizing a genocide and potentially stopping it before it finished. One more? Okay. You know, that's part of the reason that the ICJ, the international court system, was set up in the first place, is that, like, one of the lessons people wanted to take... Yo, what's up, 1v3? One of the lessons I think that it was super important that we try to get from World War II is that it's important to be able to recognize a genocide before it's finished, and as the project... As the, like, this, like, a state-driven genocide is happening, like, before it's done, while there's a chance to stop it before things get really, really bad. You know, like before things get catastrophic, which is not to say they aren't already catastrophic in Gaza, but I think you know what I mean. Right? And this would be a great success story of that. And in fact, this could be used in the future if, you know, I think history would remember this as a genocide that was not fully completed, this would be super useful for people down the line when no doubt another instance like this springs up to refer to and be like, well, look, how do we know this is a genocide? Well, here's this other genocide that the international community was actually successful in stopping before it was finished, and these are the kinds of markers that we saw, right? You know, it's kind of like a no excuses sort of deal, where now we don't just have to refer to genocides that have already that had already been like successfully carried out and decimated an entire population, because at that point, like, obviously it's easy to tell. What ICJ cases are you talking about in particular? The ICJ ruling about it, like, oh, these actions could plausibly amount to genocide is one case that you could refer to. But also, I think that, oh, okay, one more. I think that the way historians have been looking at this issue, it will be pretty evident that this is a genocide for future generations when they're learning about it in the history class and whatnot. In fact, I think if that's not the case, I think we would potentially land ourselves right back at square one, where this is liable to happen again. Ooh. Oh, wow, nice forward. But as of right now, I think phase 1 of the peace plan hasn't yet been implemented. There's still a lot of time for things to either go very right or very wrong, which hard to say, because they could either go right or they could go wrong. And Israel has certainly acted like a rogue state in the past. They're acting like a rogue state right now. It wouldn't be out of the question for them to push the envelope even further. Although I think that because a lot of Israeli politicians, like many politicians, are chiefly interested in like their own political capital and things like that, it's all likelihood is that this isn't going to turn too much for the worse. Oh. In terms of South Africa case, plausibility and legal definitions, it means that there are conditions that could lead to genocide. Yeah, they didn't like the courts did not definitively say, oh yeah, this is a genocide. They said it could be plausibly said to be a genocide. Like, the case that South Africa is bringing is that Israel is committing a genocide, and although we are not offering a definitive ruling, that case has merit. Like, the case of Israel committing a genocide has merit, but it hasn't been definitively ruled on yet, if that makes sense. Right? And so, like, obviously courts are a tough crowd to convince. There's the jury standard, there's a lot of complexity that goes into legal arguments. That's part of the reason why I referred into one in that other video, why I said I don't give a shit about making a legal argument. I give a shit about making a historical one, or like an ethical one, right? I think historians are going to look at this and very easily identify, oh yeah, this was like, if it wasn't already a genocide, it was like no question going to be a full-on genocide if the international community hadn't intervened in the way that they did. Okay, finally caped. Terms under which Israel said it would stop felt like Putin said, yeah, we will stop if we get half of Ukraine and the rest becomes a puppet state. It definitely feels like that. But, Biden's peace plan is sort of not... is sort of not like that. Certainly, Israel has put forward some pretty terrible... quote-unquote peace proposals in the past, which is kind of reminiscent of like what Nazi Germany did, what Putin's doing now, and stuff like that. But now that the U.S. has proposed one, I think I saw in a news article that the peace proposal that the United States put forward, in Israel's name, mind you, is pretty similar to one of the peace deals that Hamas wanted, where it was like basically like a reset. Like, look, we'll give the hostages back. We'll do all these hostage exchanges and stuff. We just want you to leave, right? We just want you to like not invade the Gaza Strip and pulverize everybody, which Israel wasn't willing to do because they don't care about the hostages and they do care about pulverizing Palestinians and stuff. And yeah, like Astroflick mentioned, Israel is a puppet state of ours. Like we tell them what to do, right? And this is an instance. This peace proposal that Biden announced is an example of us doing that, actually, which is good because we have the ability to make things not get worse. So we should be using that. Oh, he's escaping as hell. Oh, nice tech chase. This lag is really bad. Time for me to never side B again, since he's going to be scouting it. Jesus Christ, there's such a bad connection here. There's no way this guy's ping is actually 30-something. It feels awful. Oh my god. That is, we have such a bad connection, dude. No, I'm not playing another one. That is a horrible connection. I'm sorry, Tactic, but your connection sucks. And I can't play that. So. Biden has said in his speech, it's up to Hamas to accept this deal, but that actually implies that Israel has accepted. If they don't do that, they're backing out of peace. So Biden has them tied in a knot right now. Yep, that's right. And Hamas has said, like, you know, it looks pretty good. So all indication is that they will accept as well, which I think is a good sign for things to come. Let me see if there's any more to what's going on here. I guess now it's just the let's wait and see, but I think I'm comfortable ending it there. That segment, that is the longest segment I've ever done. It's definitely going to be shorter in the editing because half of that was me fucking going nightmare mode, freaking out because I couldn't control my character. But yeah, broad strokes. This, like, this is a day late and a dollar short. Like the whole, this should have been done 7 months ago when this was just getting started. You know, the U.S. should have been exercising this from the get-go. But ultimately, the fact that it is doing so now is preferable. The fact that the United States is pressuring Israel to accept this peace deal now is preferable to if we just weren't doing that. So it's like, you know, to use another analogy that I've heard invoked, it's like we're a homeless guy on the park bench and somebody handed us a $5 bill that's got a bunch of like crap smeared on it. And so it's like, well, that's not ideal, but, you know, that's better than not getting the money at all. $5 is enough to, I don't know, get something. So we'll see. We'll see. And hopefully this rebuilding effort is as wide-ranging or as concerted as something like the Marshall Plan was, where there's actually like infrastructure being built for the benefit of Gaza, and hopefully it's infrastructure that the Israelis won't be able to just like siphon off entirely, like they have with water supplies, food supplies, concrete supplies, and things like that. So, future me, cut the segment there. And let's move on to some other stuff. Jeez. Us? Move on to us? Yeah, sure. I mean, I said move on to other stuff. Oh, jeez. This guy has... Oh, my God. Alright. How will I fare in the laggiest connection I've ever seen? Bad connection. That was so bad. I can talk about... Dutch Trump wants to take the spotlight? Ah, that's true. Yeah. Oh, boy. Yoshi. Sure, I'll play Yoshi. I'm perfectly prepared to just get beat up by this Yoshi because of, you know, people who main Yoshi, they either, like, don't know how to play the game, really, or they're just godlike because Yoshi's a super difficult character. Ooh. So I'm preparing for turbulence right now is what's going on. Oh, this guy's got tech. This guy's sick. This guy's going places. Ah, I'm dead. What another thing I wanted to talk about was something that actually doesn't require a news headline, and that is the reading kick that I've been on for the past week or so, or a couple weeks. That being affordable housing. I had 3 studies, I think, picked out that I wanted to read about affordable housing. You can just duck that? What the fuck? That's fucked up. And I finished them recently. I finished, last night, I finished the last one that I was reading. And funnily enough, the recommendation for that one was something that you could actually argue is like the socialistic frontier of housing policy, which is cooperative housing, funded by the state or subsidized by the state, owned by the community, you know, as opposed to owned by private developers. It's called a cooperative housing. There are a couple different types of it. It's like, I don't know, community land trusts. There's also other types, like I think limited equity housing, where it's like, it's kind of like a cooperative or even a local government with like pooled funds, and like housing is no longer like viable as an investment vehicle. Like you can't do the thing where you just buy a house and then sell it for profit later, right? Which is pretty cool from a policy perspective. Oh no, that's unfortunate. Apparently, the housing cooperatives are a big thing in Germany, and potentially in some other countries in Europe. And they're not as big a thing in the United States because housing as a speculative investment, speculative vehicle, creates a lot of what are called perverse incentives, right? And one of the ways in which it does that is through property taxes. And that's not me like doing some libertarian shtick. In fact, I think if anything, property taxes should be a lot higher because of the types of people that tend to own property. But effectively, what happens is that the housing as an appreciating asset, it's taxable, right? So that generates property tax revenue. Local governments rely almost entirely on property taxes. Most of the taxes that local governments get, I think they only either get income tax and property tax. They don't get a lot of they don't have a lot of sources of money. And then some stuff they get is from administrative funds, like funds from the state and federal government, like higher levels of government and stuff. So there are these situations where local governments depend on housing not only being a speculative investment vehicle, but they depend on like the line going up to get them enough money to fund things like schools. These are things that are administered at the local level, right? It's part of the reason why there's so much income inequality and racial inequality in schools still. And that also applies to affordable housing, because like cities don't want to make affordable housing. They like drag their feet doing it a lot because it doesn't generate a ton of revenue, and that has to be addressed in some way. Which sort of ties into issues of how the tax bracket is structured and other kinds of inequality that prevent governments from having a lot of money to spend on public infrastructure projects and things like that. Oh. Kind of surprised that knee hit. Oh, wow. Okay. Come back? He knew I'd jump right into that. Okay, no comeback. But cooperative housing, pretty good, and pretty affordable too. The the pooling of funds and whatever, effectively it subsidizes the poorest people, especially because a lot of that subsidization also comes from the government. Like there are low interest government loans that are sometimes available for affordable housing stuff, so it makes it not that expensive to build. But again, there are some problems with affordable housing projects in the United States becoming unaffordable as a product of them being houses that you own rather than renting, and the value of them increasing as a result. Oh wow, he lived that. Kind of crazy. No, he got me out of the hack stash. Oh, that would have been nice. There we go. So basically, what I learned from those studies, I learned a bit about the history of affordable housing, about the policies that currently exist, and ultimately what I learned, number one, affordable housing is good, and if you say otherwise, you are literally Hitler. That's what I've learned from these studies. There's actually zero negative material effects from the construction of more affordable housing, except for maybe I don't know, somebody's houses in the area, in like a gentrified area, might not appreciate in value as quickly. But like I said, I don't care about those people. So to me, that's no negative effects. Oh, oops. And then another thing is that, like, this issue kept coming up, which is very interesting, that a lot of the subsidization that occurs with affordable housing is through landlords. Like, like, housing choice vouchers in America and, like, rent subsidies and things like that are often administered by giving, like, lump sums to renters or something like that, that they then pay rent to the landlord, or through the government subsidizing landlords directly, who are the landlords of, like, the owners of affordable units. You know? Like, and that creates also this weird situation where, like, these subsidies then are, like, not as cost effective because you've introduced a middleman. You, like, a middleman that doesn't do anything. These housing projects oftentimes are products of government investment and like stuff like that. So the government has to make sure that they're up to code. Like, everything that the landlord is supposed to do, usually in, like, a private housing development, is like either the government's job, or the government is going to be sort of like looking over the landlord's shoulder to make sure that they're keeping things up to code, they're not increasing the rent, and stuff like that. But with the middleman that is the landlord, they're trying to get profits out of it, right? So, like, at multiple points this came up with, like, housing vouchers and other kinds of subsidies. Like, why have the landlord at all? It's way cheaper, it would be way cheaper for the government to just in-house a lot of the stuff that they do to subsidize affordable housing, right? So, like, landlords are kind of useless. All they do is extract wealth from that process, make things more expensive, and make it harder to build affordable housing. And it's the same thing with homeowners, really, because what homeowners are, functionally, is just a landlord over the house that they themselves live in. Like, it's a landlord, but instead of owning everybody else's property that, like, lives in an apartment building, you just own the house and you live in the house, right? A lot of these programs could be way easier administered if they were just, like, renting directly from the government. Does that make sense? I'm kind of autistically rambling and stuff, but like, that's kind of what I wanted to talk about. So here we have, funnily enough, it's like it's an instance where the data available on the subject directly supports a socialist policy approach. The collective public ownership of housing, either in cooperative housing models or through local government ownership, which you then rent at low cost, you know, is way more economically efficient than having landlords that own these properties, because even if you were to keep all the other inefficiencies in that equation, with landlords owning properties and stuff, if you subtracted them, all you would be subtracting is the profit. Like, that's consistently, that would be taken out of the equation every time. So whatever happens, every time that you remove landlords from that equation, housing gets cheaper. And that's not to mention all the other shit that would be way cheaper, that already has to be done with housing and stuff if the government was in-housing it. Any type of housing being built is good. Better if we can mix some apartments in. Yeah, and I think that, like, you know, obviously the more affordable housing, the better. It's just that the thing that really stumped me was that, like, there were a lot of affordable housing programs that were hamstrung because people didn't want apartments to be built in their area. A lot of homeowners are like, no, apartments would bring down the value of my house, so I don't want them to be built. There's a lot of, like, NIMBY and missing middle type of people who only want single family units built, and that's why that keeps happening. it's better than nothing, but it's a pretty inefficient. It's a inefficient method of addressing the housing issues in the U.S. Right? Like really, especially in very urbanized areas, you need to have high density and multifamily units. Like you can't just in somewhere even like Virginia, which isn't that big of a state. There's an area called the Urban Crescent. I don't know why I'm explaining this. You're from Virginia, and you know this. Most of the housing there, I read an executive summary of a government housing study. Most of the housing, even in the Urban Crescent, in most urban areas of Virginia, are single-family, like, freestanding units, and not, like, row homes, duplexes, or apartments. It's only a minority of the units that are those other types. And I think that's a problem, because, like, the very low density of residential zoning in big cities prevents cities from being planned especially well, right? It's going to inherently reduce the walkability of a given area. It's going to make it so that like you become way more dependent on cars and stuff. It doesn't have especially good outcomes relative to the other types of housing units. That's not to say you should have zero freestanding single-family units in cities and stuff. There are plenty of those, you know, even in other countries. But like there has to be an appropriate proportion, and America is clearly way out of proportion with that. Like we're not building nearly enough in the way of apartments and like other high-density developments. And you know what's funny? Part of that is actually because of conflicts of interest within HUD. One of the things I read in one of the articles was that the secretary of the Department of Housing and Urban Development during, I think, the Reagan administration was a former auto CEO. Like they were a former, maybe not CEO, but they were an executive in the automotive industry. And they're like, all right, this is now the Reagan appointee for housing. And as a result, they like almost exclusively built single family units. Like they didn't really build apartments. So it's entirely possible, I think, that auto industry interests are at play as well in preventing apartments from being built. Because in other countries, right, like suburbs are a lot denser in other countries on average, and there's a lot less reliance on cars, and there are a lot more multifamily units on average in other countries like Germany. One of the studies that I was reading explicitly compared the U.S. and Germany, so that's my frame of reference here. Suburbs where there's only houses is literally hell. I can't actually stay. I actually can't stay in those places while going insane. Yeah, and I live in one of those. You know, it's a well, there's like the whole city that I live in is technically like a suburb of DC, but like the neighborhood that I live in, there's no third places. There's well, I shouldn't say no, there's one. There's all of one third place. There's a little public park at the bottom of the hill. But apart from that, it's like a 20-minute walk at best to get anywhere. And that's a product of like auto industry interests, all sorts of other stuff. Redlining as well. That's a thing that was mentioned, that you know, redlining had the effect of creating those suburbs where they like white people so badly wanted to be away from black people that they were willing to say like, fine, we'll create a fucking blighted hellscape as long as it means that we don't have to interact with people who have a different skin color. Like, genuinely wild. That was good tech away from him. Might be it. What is a third place? Is that something that isn't a retail store or house? Yeah, that is a third place in academic literature. A third place refers to something that isn't your home. And it isn't work. Basically, it's a social area in which you congregate. You just kind of go there with your homies at like places where you hang out. So it could be something like a public park or like a little shopping center with some space to sit down and stuff like that. Or any number of things, really. It could be like, I don't know, a park and a shopping center. It could be a community center. It could be a library, or something like that. Oh. That actually meant to be knee, not back air, but I accidentally did the more difficult input. There's also there's also another thing that I learned about affordable housing that was pretty interesting from a study that mostly focused on design and aesthetics, which wasn't exactly what I'm looking for, but it was something. It was interesting, which is that, like, again, this was particularly prevalent during the Reagan administration because Reagan is at fault for basically everything bad in modern America in some form or another. Effectively, like, there's a stereotype among not just conservatives, but like a pretty broad public audience that affordable housing like looks shitty. It tends to be a self-fulfilling prophecy that, like, oh, affordable housing is just cheap and bad quality and looks shitty because it's for poor people. And that attitude kind of took hold, especially with the conservative revolution, because conservatives fucking hate homeless people and poor people. That attitude took hold in government. So it started to be the case that affordable housing projects started to see flaws in the form of being designed to be ugly and unsightly and stuff. And as a result, places didn't want to... There were, like, localities that started to have that as another factor of, like, why they didn't want to build affordable housing. It's just because, like, oh, it's an eyesore, you know? We'd rather just still have poor people in our community, but have all the houses look nice, right? You know, shout-outs to Reagan for that one. And honestly, I hadn't even considered that. And then the other design principles that the author mentioned were mostly stuff along the lines of like, you know, third places and stuff. Basically, where are the houses? Like, how are the developments shaped? And also, like, what are they close to, if anything? I went for it all there. True. No. Oh, wow, I'm dead. Okay. They left. Angry face? Okay. Didn't fastball that. There were some other items on my list, on the list of things. Ooh, okay. Ah, yes, some news from Atlanta, Georgia. This will be the last thing, and then I will, I'll be done with stream for today. Wow, I can't believe that hit. So, recently there was some news that related to Cop City in Atlanta, which the subject had been pretty quiet on my newsfeed in the wake of obviously Gaza and like the project already having been built in large part. You know, there's some pretty pronounced public backlash. I made a segment about it a while ago about how like the city was super committed to building the project, and even like it like was pretty transparently so as well. Like in the face of large public backlash, instead of deciding not to build the project like a democratic government probably should, they instead just closed the forums and was like, oh wow, look at that, now the public isn't offering their opinion on the matter because we closed the venue by which they can do that. You know, they built the Cop City anyway. Apparently Atlanta had been experiencing some problems with their water system. I just heard about this yesterday, but like a bunch of water mains burst. Which is not good. You know, even in the United States, which doesn't have very good infrastructure, it's not often that water mains just burst open, right? And the city has actually been silent, like for the most part. Especially the mayor. People been posting all sorts of stuff all over the city about like the mayor basically is ignoring this issue, which they are. Meanwhile, apparently, like at the actual same time that this is happening, when the government claimed like we don't have the money for this, they gave a shit ton of money to Cop City. And there's some posts about it from residents of Georgia and Atlanta that are very, very not happy with this. You know, expectedly so, I think. Get out of here. Ooh. Oh, wow. Once this match is done, I can get to the details of the story there. That's a nice arms attack. Oof. Let's take a look. This will be the last thing I do this stream. Here we go. This is just a random Twitter account, but I did find a, I think a Substack article about this, and then there's some news about it as well. Oh shit, from 2 hours ago. That was just when I started streaming. CNN. Atlanta finally declares state of emergency as water main break forces hospital to relocate patients. Okay, so shit's pretty bad. Following a massive water main break that left parts of the city's downtown district without water and prompted a major hospital to transfer patients elsewhere? Christ, that's not good. While a new potential break threatened to exacerbate the city's problems on Sunday. The significant disruption to water service is in Georgia's capital is the largest dramatic example of how aging infrastructure throughout the U.S. has impacted electrical grids, bridges and roadways, dams, and other vital systems, inconveniencing millions of Americans or even placing them in danger. In this case, Atlanta Mayor Andre Dickens on Saturday declared a state of emergency just a few hours after crews repaired one of the two major water main breaks in the city's downtown area. The other in Midtown is still undergoing services with no estimate on when it will be fixed. Repair crews have made, quote, significant progress in localizing the repairs. So the approach that the Atlanta government seems to be taking is nothing to see here, folks. But, geez, boil water advisory still in effect. Did this happen because water was, like, boiling in the pipes? That's kind of crazy if that's the case. Oh, no, it was just a leaky pipe. Okay, yeah. Because water mains have pretty pressurized contents there. Either way. Let's see. I remember there being something about, like, the... +24 hours of no water in Atlanta. These signs are popping up across the city. Shit, dude. So this went a full day without the mayor giving any comments. The mayor commented on it yesterday, but like I guess this happened on Friday, and then the local government literally didn't say anything for more than a full day. People joking about the police budget, which makes sense. Let me see. Yeah, look at this. Wait, no, hold on. This was not what I thought it was. Let me look for the word. No? What? The fuck? My apologies. I thought this story was something different. I thought I remembered seeing something about the police budget having, like... Well, I mean, obviously the police budget does have an insane amount of money. It's Atlanta, Georgia. And this is America. We spend an ungodly amount of money on the police. But, you know what? Actually, let me look specifically. Atlanta police budget. $270 million per year. And the damage here said it was like... I don't know, it said it was like a couple $1 billion of damage or something like that. That's a lot. I feel like this rises to the level of something that can't just be addressed by a city government. I don't know. I feel like they might need to bring in outside help for this. Especially if people are going days at a time without running water. Like, that's bad. It's really bad. Department budget is about $650 million. This is the water department. The Department of Watershed Management, just for Atlanta, Georgia, has identified $8.7 billion in infrastructure investment needs. Holy shit, we are so behind. The department has a 5-year, $1.6 billion capital improvement plan, funded in part from the most sales tax. I fucking hate sales taxes, but look, them funding it is better than them not funding it at all, I guess. Some of this can be attributed to corruption as management. Yeah, okay. Average American city behavior. And on that note, I think I'm done today. See ya.